Today I'm reporting live from the fashion studios of Jaey, where we're hosting the Blue Carpet series, and the breaking news is just in. Women have so many clothes and still have nothing to wear. Men have such few clothes, but they still wear all the wrong things. Right? At least we dress better.
Avanne, live TV is obviously so unpredictable, right? You said something unintended, and then how did you save that situation?
Once I actually said sexpert on air because the line was 6 experts joining in. We used to have this show with 6 experts every day, and I said that. But
So, how do you still manage to show up and be the same confident anchor?
being in the news sort of taught me that poise is more than just being perfect. It's
Okay.
about showing up, like you said. So there's so many times when I was anchoring the news, or when I was in the newsroom and live on air, when I'm like in the break, negotiating with the vegetable wala, the sabzi wala.
Oh my god. Today's time is all about 3-second hooks and very quick reels. How do you blend in your art of storytelling in this such a short format?
Honestly, like Gen Z kind of scares me now. I mean, the attention span of today's generation is less than a TikTok video, I would say.
Welcome to the Blue Carpet Talks, where we celebrate trailblazing women rewriting the rules, one powerful story at a time. I'm Jaey Harya, the founder of Jaey, your go-to power dressing brand, no matter your size, shape, or anything else. 6 months into Jaey, I was watching the news with my father when he casually asked, "When will I see news anchors wearing Jaey? They're the women who truly own it." That moment stuck with me. Fast forward to today, Papa, if you're watching this, not only is she wearing Jaey, but we're sitting together having this conversation. And she's no ordinary guest. You've seen her breaking the biggest stories, shaping conversations, and owning the screen. But behind the scene, she was once a shy girl who never imagined being the face or voice of India's market and startups. Meet Avanne Dubash, a news anchor, media powerhouse, and once the face behind shows like The Market and Startup Central. Today, we go beyond the headlines, diving into confidence, storytelling with impact, and the magic of commanding a room with charisma. Welcome to the Blue Carpet Talks, Avanne. We can't wait to unravel your story today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So, Avanne, I've been reading about you, and I know that you were super shy as a kid, but now you've turned into this confident news anchor. How did it happen? Like, what's your journey like?
So yes, I was very shy as a child. I didn't want to go to school.
Oh,
I didn't want to
really?
go to birthday parties, and I was, a bit of a recluse. But I think I sort of came into my own when I was in school. I spent 12 glorious years at JV Pettit High School, which was amazing. And it was during that time that I started speech and drama classes, and I
Okay.
did my Trinity College of London exams. And I think that's where I really found my voice. It sort of started as, doing the exams and elocution classes, but I think what I didn't realize was that really helped me build my own confidence and make me the person I am today. So now I talk for a living. I mean, who'd have thought?
Wow, that's quite a transition, I'd say. And never imagined such a shy could actually come up and become so confident. So kudos to that. If I would ask you, what's your one superpower? Something that other women could actually learn from you, from your journey of how you've transitioned, and maybe implement in their lives as well.
So I think it would be my ability to jump in without knowing what lies ahead. So I'm not going to say that
Wow.
I'm just someone who takes risks. I do, but I take it in a sort of calculated manner. For example, even when I joined ET Now, I didn't know much about, the stock markets, but I
Yeah,
learned
yeah.
everything on the job. I learned everything
Wow.
about live television on the job in my 16 years that I've been here. Of course, I've grown. Even after being with a company for so long, to sort of venture out on my own, that was something that was a bit of a risk for me as well, not something I'm very accustomed to doing.
Of
So I
course.
chose to take the plunge, but it wasn't that I just jumped into the dark. I sort of had a bit of a transition period. I tested the waters as a consultant, saw what it was like, and then made the change. So I would say the lesson would be, yes, take the risk, but do it smartly, which means that you need to sort of test the waters before you actually take the risk.
Yeah, no, makes so much sense because I know so many women who are so
Like you.
passionate. Yeah, and they want to start something and actually build something amazing of their own, but they
Yeah.
get stuck with their questions. What if
Yeah.
it doesn't work?
Of
What if we
course.
fail? And just the ability to actually take that plunge,
Yeah.
obviously with calculated risk, of
Yes.
course, but it makes so much
I
difference.
know, because they always do say that, if you are going to let fear hold you back, you won't ever do anything extraordinary. While I do believe in that, yes, you need to take that jump, that
Yeah,
plunge.
yeah.
I think sort of have your plan B,
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
backup plan, test the waters, see
Yeah.
what it's like,
Yeah.
and then make the jump.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you were with ET now for almost 15 years. And after that, you decided to take the plunge. So, what made you make that move, right? Because it was obviously a very good job, and of course, you had some plans ahead. So, what made you take that step, and what are your plans ahead?
Yeah. Well, yes, I've been with the company for 16 years, makes me feel so old. But I started off when I was young. It was kind of like my first job. But I think for me, I achieved whatever I wanted to on the channel. I started off as a junior assistant producer, started off doing small reporting bits, new anchoring on the weekend, and then gradually made my way into doing the primetime shows on the channel. So I feel I achieved what I wanted to,
Okay.
and yes, it did. It taught me so much. It cultivated my passion for being in front of the camera. But I was always sort of getting opportunities to do work outside, and I had to say no, and that like broke me a bit. And I
Yeah.
said, I've given my time here. I've done what I had to do. I have a little daughter. I wanted to spend more time with her. There was sort of, I never did drop offs. I never, did pickups. So I sort of missed that, and I said I need to be more present for my daughter as well. And I tested the waters as a consultant, and I found that I absolutely loved it. I love doing, things outside, more exciting assignments. And so that's what I'm doing now, sort of taking up the role of hosting podcasts, moderating panel discussions, events,
Awesome.
content curation, and doing it in my own time. So I
Makes
like that.
so much sense. And I think because of your experience, it would have obviously helped you to get
for
these
sure.
opportunities. And I remember when I was doing banking, we were closing a deal for this 2000 crore company. And once the deal was closed, we had a conversation with the CEO. And he was just like very humble person. So he said, Jenny, the one thing that I regret doing is that I never spent time with my kids. It's because I
Yeah.
was so busy building something. And of course, I built a 2000 crore company,
Yeah.
but at what cost? So I
Exactly.
think the right time to take that step and
Yes.
prioritize your family becomes so much important and makes so much sense
Absolutely.
because you don't want to regret missing out on it later on.
Absolutely right. So I think that doing this at this point in time just made so much sense.
Makes sense. So, Avanne, news is serious, right? And great anchors know how to make the serious news engaging. I think it's the art of storytelling. So, what are your few hacks or tips for it? Like, how do you make people actually care about what you're saying?
Well, yes, news is serious business, especially if it's business news. We're talking data, number crunching.
Yeah.
It's not something that you really want to chat and gossip
Yeah.
and discuss. So that sort of has a very different take or feel or treatment to it. But I think that your question actually had the answer. The art of storytelling maybe is what makes conversations in life a lot more engaging.
Yeah.
For example, I told you I used to hide under my mother's skirt
Yeah.
as a child, right?
Yeah.
So that's me telling you a little bit more about myself. I'm divulging some personal details about
Yes.
myself. Authenticity definitely engages. So if I tell you something in the form of a story, it's definitely going to be a lot more engaging. So I think that really works.
Yeah.
To be a bit honest and vulnerable is definitely something that helps in conversations. But when it comes to news, like I said, it's different treatment.
Of course.
But you were asking what helps in.
How do you make people care about what you say, and how do you make a boring news item so interesting?
I don't know if I succeeded in making boring news items interesting, but I think small things like having a command over the language, knowing what you're talking about, talking about what kind of an impact that would have on the common man like you and me when inflation numbers go up and things like that. So definitely
Yeah.
dissecting all of that, preparation well in advance is what helps. So yeah.
So I think one point that I picked from here is huge point is that relatability.
Yes.
If anything is relatable to the person, even to a slightest extent, and you tell it that way, they will care about it because they can see
Yeah.
yourself in those shoes, themselves in those shoes as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It makes
of
you more
course.
human.
Yeah, and that's also something that not a lot of people are very comfortable with, like showing your vulnerable side, or just divulging your personal details.
Yes. Yes, for sure, people aren't. I mean, I'm not saying go out there and tell them
Of
about
course.
like your deepest, darkest secrets, but yes, if
Yeah.
you were to tell them something a little bit authentic
Yeah.
about yourself, something that they didn't know,
Yeah.
then that's a bit of a
Makes
hook as
sense.
well. Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. So, Avan, live TV is obviously so unpredictable, right? Has there ever been a moment where you completely blanked out, or you said something unintended, and then how did you save that situation?
Well, I actually did. I
Wow.
froze on live TV once.
Really? Oh my
Yes.
God.
Well, this was in my very, very, very early days. I
Okay.
had just started out doing bulletins, which is shows on the weekend, which was
Okay.
typically not that high viewership. This was when
Okay.
I was starting out, and there was never really any breaking news. That's why they gave it to newer people. And there was some news that came in, and they patch a live phone conversation. So they had
Okay.
an expert join in,
Right.
and there's a producer and the studio director yelling in my ear saying, "Go to the phone conversation, go to the guest, go to the expert." And I just didn't know what to do.
Oh
And
my
luckily,
God.
there was a senior anchor who was also there at the time in the studio. He sort of swooped in and took over. But like I said, very initial days, it's
Oh
never
my
ever
God.
happened again. But bloopers, there have been so many. I sneezed so many times on air. There's been someone that's fallen while doing a link, because sometimes, to give them height, they stand on these
Huh.
like boxes, and someone fell off while doing that. So
Oh
that was
my God.
hilarious. And once I actually said sexpert on air, because
Oh.
because the line was 6 experts joining in. We used to have this show with 6 experts every day, and I said that. But you know what? Bloopers are bound to
Of
happen.
course.
We're all human, so it's
Yeah.
natural.
I think
Yeah.
people will enjoy watching those bloopers
A
more
lot
than
more
they
than the
enjoy the
news.
news.
Yeah.
Awesome. But Avan, you mentioned that there was like a producer talking in one ear and then somebody else. So how do you even get that attention span? Like there are so many people doing so many things with you. There's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
teleprompter ahead of you, and you have to.
Oh my
So
God,
how?
yes.
What happens exactly on the stage?
So I think a lot of people ask me this, that when you're recording in a studio, is
Yeah.
it like the newsroom? I don't know if you've ever watched that show, The Newsroom, but it is exactly like that.
Okay.
So in the newsroom, there's a lot of buzz. In the studio, it is literally quiet. It is you staring into a black hole with a cameraman and maybe
Oh.
your co-anchor sitting over there. But you wear this earpiece. That's
Okay.
where you're getting so many instructions.
Okay.
There's, the sound guy, the studio director, the producer of the show. They're all talking in your ears because you're giving the final output. So the
Right.
magic happens in the production control room, or the
Okay.
PCR is what it's called.
Yeah.
And they're giving you instructions, but I think it's just a matter of time. It's getting used to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have people telling me to go to a guest, to stop a guest from talking sometimes when they're talking too much.
Yeah.
Go to this question, breaking news happening. So yes, there's instructions. You have to be aware. You have to be on your feet. You have to be with it.
Yeah.
And I think it's over
Oh
a
my
matter.
God. I think I can never do it. I can't do two things at a time.
You know,
Forget like
I
five.
actually had a friend who's a pilot, and I
Okay.
mean, he's a captain and
Okay.
he's flying planes for a living. And he said, "I want to come and see your studio once." And I got him into the office, and he came and he saw the production control room, and he saw a live show while we were recording. He was like, "I could never do this." And I said, "What are you saying? You fly planes for a living. Like, you can't say this." But it is a bit intimidating,
Yeah.
and it is a lot
Yeah.
happening at once. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, makes so much sense. So, have you ever been in a room full of men where it was a challenge to actually command the room with charisma?
So, truth be told, I have never, because in the newsroom and where I worked, it was always a very healthy ratio of men to
Okay.
women. We had a lot of women anchoring bulletins. In fact, I think at the time of leaving, there was a lot more women anchors, producers in the channel
Okay.
versus what was there earlier. So, luckily for me, no, I never faced that.
Wow. I mean, that's quite different from my experience
Yes.
or a lot of other experiences.
Investment banking.
Yeah, we
yes,
all, I think
dominated
there's
by the guys in the suits.
I think we're not even 10% as women. Probably the ratio is changing now, but yeah, I've been in that situation so many times. But nevertheless, whatever room you are, do you think dressing makes any difference? The way you actually wear whatever you wear and how you wear it?
Absolutely. I think that the way you dress, it's not just about fashion. I think it's about your armor. You know, when you wear what you like, you feel better, you
Yeah.
talk better, the energy sort of just shifts.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I'm wearing something that I don't like or that I don't enjoy wearing, I think I just want to hide under the covers and not be around
Yeah.
people. But we sort of underestimate what fashion can really do for confidence.
Yes.
Because it is a huge confidence builder and it can make
Yeah.
all the difference. So never
Yeah.
underestimate the power of a killer outfit.
Yeah, it's so true. And something like this has actually happened with me because banking, like we said. So I was in a room full of men, and these are the men we were doing meetings with back to back, like a lot of times. So I remember this one fine day when I entered the room, everybody was looking at me and they were actually just getting up, shaking hands. I'm like, what did I do differently
Yeah.
today? I am like, this is not something that they've done in the past. And then I actually look back and realize it's the way I was feeling in the outfit that I was wearing. That's why I was walking so confidently, and that's why the vibe of the room completely changed. And it did make so much difference. That's how Jay obviously also started.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of difference. And this is something that most women definitely underestimate, like you said.
Absolutely.
Because we're so busy in our lives, running around and managing so many things, that the last thing we prioritize is how we look
Yes.
at the workplace. And that's something that definitely needs to change.
Absolutely. And it makes such a difference in the way you turn
Of
up.
course, of course. So, since we're talking about outfits and dressing, can you tell me about one outfit where you felt completely unstoppable and powerful, and one outfit that you completely regretted wearing on air?
Okay. So yes, I there wouldn't be one. It would be a few.
Okay.
I wore this lovely sort of white, you know, cord set.
Okay.
It was, you know, this white top and very well fitted pants. It was
Okay.
from Moonray for this discussion that I did with on parenting, and I had a friend actually style me for it, so I think it was
Wow.
all the more special
Yeah.
because she's sort of very passionate about this, and I felt really good about how I looked. Then there was this time I was, you know, emceeing for the Elle Design Awards, and I wore this lovely, you know, gorgeous dress that I'd never wear
Okay.
otherwise by Vaishali S, which is this couture brand, and it's very unusual patterns, and it was a lovely green pop dress.
Awesome.
And then, of course, this gorgeous satin shirt and skirt from Jaey. I love the fabric. I love how it makes me feel. So, yes,
Awesome.
I do love this too. Things that I regret, I think there would be a lot over my years
Oh, is
anchoring. I
it?
used to wear green lenses and think I looked like the shit back then. But also, you know, I had this one top which had like this plastic necklace attached to it.
Okay.
And back then I thought I looked amazing, but it was like this DIY project gone wrong.
Oh my God.
mean, yes, there have been a few regrets for sure.
Did nobody tell you that it was looking
No, I
weird
think we
back
all
then?
thought it looked amazing back then, but now when I look back, you know how it is.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. So, coming back to your anchoring days, if I gave you like a very random, ridiculous topic, say for example, I told you to talk about a white shirt becoming a complete fashion disaster, or
Okay.
say the fashion industry going nuts, can you probably do that in like a very serious, breaking the news sort of a way for us? Like, how would you do it?
I should hope I can because I've been doing this for so long. This reminds me of my elocution class where we were just given like 3
Topics.
words and then say, now do this skit. Okay, so white shirt going out of fashion,
Yeah.
becoming a fashion disaster. Okay. So, should I look into that, Cam?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Okay. So today I'm reporting live from the fashion studios of Jaey, where we're hosting the Blue Carpet series. And the breaking news is just in. The white shirt, which has been discovered and started in the 18th century, we have sources confirming that it has now become a fashion disaster. We also have sources close to me that are confirming that now it is the black satin shirt made by Jaey that is actually going to be the new fashion hot item. We will get you up to speed with more details as and when they do come in, but for now, it's back to you in the studio.
Oh my God, this is so good. This is
To make
so
you believe
good.
it was an actual story.
It did. I think I was already thinking about how we would run on it on our page and how well it would perform.
Okay,
This was
so you have
definitely
it.
so good. Amazing. So, since we are now talking about social media as well, right? today's time is all about 3-second hooks and very quick reels,
Yeah.
30 seconds, 20 seconds. Anything beyond 40 seconds is like this too long.
Yeah.
And it's so contrary to how traditionally media has been. So, what do you think is like a really good hook? And how do you blend in your art of storytelling in this such a short format?
Yeah. Honestly, like Gen Z kind of scares me now. And I think we're becoming like that, this popcorn brain, the fact that we want
Yeah.
bite-sized content that's quick,
Yeah.
that's entertaining, and then boom, on to the next,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the attention span of today's generation is less than a TikTok video, I would say.
Seriously.
Yeah, but I think that the having a powerful hook is, yes, making something very intriguing at the start of a video to capture someone's attention. But it's important to still have credibility, to do it without losing credibility, because what's going to last at the end of the day is substance.
Yeah.
And when there's a learning and when there's something that you're taking away from it,
Yeah.
because it's very dangerous in today's world of clickbait. It's very easy to
Yeah.
get the numbers and the
Yeah.
views,
Yeah.
but I don't think that should be the goal.
Yeah. No, it's so true because we as a team have experienced that there are content pieces, very informative, something that would definitely add value. We've spent hours and hours on it and it barely gets
Yeah.
views. And there's some random, I was just one reel I did, who's my Valentine this year? It's you. That got me more views than all of the
Right.
effort that
And
we
this
took.
Instagram algo, I do not get it. I struggle
Seriously.
every single day. If someone knows,
Yeah.
please tell me.
I
Yeah.
don't think anybody
Yeah.
has it figured out. Okay. So, have you ever probably hyped a story
Okay.
and then it completely took a different turn and then you had to like save it all over again because it's that wasn't what the story was?
So honestly, I think in the news, you cannot afford to do that, because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, we're representing a channel, we're representing the team behind it. So it's not for us to say what gets to be sensationalized or hyped and what doesn't. You sort of do as you're told. But yes, what has happened is that there have been certain mistakes that have been rectified on air. Like,
Okay.
for example, if a company is coming out with their earnings and the research desk sort of just copies what's come from the news wires, and then they say that now the number has changed.
Okay.
That does happen. So what you say is you sort of own it. You say that yes, there has been a mistake. We put
Yeah.
out the wrong number, but now the number has changed. Apologies for that. It is live TV. Things are moving at a very fast and hectic pace. You have someone screaming and you're saying,
Yeah.
take the number
Yeah.
on air. And even though you may feel that it's wrong, you sort of take that number. So I think what's important is not being first, but actually being credible and correct.
Credible, yeah.
But even when you do make the mistake, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, we're all human. Yes,
Yeah.
there was an error in calculation. Own up to it.
Makes sense.
Rectify it.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. So what I understand here is that probably they decide what gets hyped or sensationalized and what doesn't, but there is never like a wrong fact that goes up as such.
So in business news, not much gets
Okay.
sensationalized at all.
Okay.
It's sort of just company numbers, GDP data, budget, facts. So we don't try to
Yeah,
go down
yeah,
that route.
yeah.
But yes, do we want to make something a very relevant topic? That's all very well discussed in edit meetings.
sense.
It's decided. We get everyone's opinion. We get the numbers, the facts, and then we say, okay, let's discuss this topic not just during market hours. Let's also make a full show out of it at night. Let's get in experts and let's do a deep dive.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, very cool. So, Avanne, through all this conversation, there's one thing that I realize there's always so much happening in your life, specifically whether you're at work or otherwise. But I'm sure it's not like every day you feel so powerful and confident and energetic. There are days when you just don't feel like it. So, how do you still manage to show up and be the same confident anchor or same confident person that you are?
Absolutely. There's days that I feel like I can step out and I'm going to rule the world. And then there's days that I feel like I just want to snuggle back under the covers. But I think that being in the news sort of taught me that, poise is more than just being perfect. It's
Okay.
about showing up, like you said. So there's so many times when I was anchoring the news or when I was in the newsroom and live on air, when I'm like in the break, negotiating with the vegetable wala, the sabzi wala,
Oh my
or talking to my
God.
nanny about what medicine needs to be given, all the while discussing with the doctor what needs to be done. Or maybe I could be in a heated argument with my better half, and you still have to show up.
Yeah.
That's what being on air is all about.
Yeah.
You have to still be that
Yeah.
composed person who's going to deliver the news no matter what's going on in your life. So you sort of learn to compartmentalize, I think, and showing up is half your battle won,
Yeah.
and then you take it
Yeah.
from there.
So cool. I think for you it's even more difficult because you're literally facing like millions of people on air. For people like us, probably not so difficult.
Yeah.
But I guess the key part here is just showing up and making sure that even if there is something little that you can do to save that day for yourself and make you feel better, you should. I think for me, the new thing has been working out in the morning. Like,
Okay, yeah.
so different on days that I work out versus days that I don't in my
just feel
energy.
better, right?
Yeah, and even if not workout, sometimes if I miss it, even like a 10-minute meditation or a breathing exercise, that does
Game
wonders.
changer. I'm gonna try
Absolutely.
meditation. Is something I need to really
Yeah,
do.
I
but
mean, even if like not the serious meditation, even if like breathing
it's
exercises,
fine.
yeah,
It's just that quiet. It's your
Yeah, yeah.
time, and it's a huge game changer to how you feel for the rest of the
Definitely,
day and how you show
100%.
up.
Yeah, I did that today morning so that
Oh,
we could
so
do
you
this.
showed up well. Yeah.
Okay, superb. So, Avanne, what is that one question that you wished people asked you a little more, but they don't?
I think why I do what I do, because it's more than just loving my job. It's about the lights, the camera, the adrenaline, the passion, and that's what keeps me going every day.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, I think nobody ever asks, like, why do you do this?
Yeah.
It's more about how do you do
Yeah.
it and what
Yes.
happens behind. Amazing. So, I think we are coming to the last question for today.
Okay.
What is that one tip that you would like to give women about confidence and storytelling, and something that you think they should definitely implement to make themselves feel more confident?
So I definitely think that women always put themselves last. There's always showing up for X, Y, Z versus yourself. But looking after yourself, doing things that make you truly happy is going to be such a game changer. It's not a crime to put
Yeah,
yourself first.
yeah.
Because when you're happier, everyone else around you will be. It's easier said than done, of course, for so many women out there. I'm not taking away from that. And then start small, but start.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's you want to shift jobs, whether it is that you want to talk to your husband, it's a difficult conversation that you want to have, it's a hobby that you want to start small, start somewhere so that you can cultivate it. And rehearse if you have to, practice if you have to do it, and so that you can actually show up.
Yeah.
And I think confidence is not a switch that you just put on and off. It's a muscle.
Yeah.
So you can build
You have
it
to build it.
and make it stronger. So do that,
Yeah.
because it'll make all the difference.
I think that's an amazing lesson for women, specifically young girls who are trying to do something different. And coming from somebody who's been in such an industry and showed up every single day, I think it holds a lot more value. Thank you so much for this wonderful tip.
I also want to just add that, when you're saying this next generation, I actually did show up every single day. There were days when I had a 7 a.m. shoot and I was in the office way earlier than I would have liked to. And, from the producers to the anchors to everyone, it doesn't come easy. You have to put in the work. And I feel like today's generation is sort of like, I'm not passionate about this. So I'm just going to jump from one to another.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't
At
work.
least for me or our generation, maybe I sound old, it doesn't work. You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why today I can say that, I do things on my own term. But don't forget that there's been 16 years behind this, that I couldn't have a late night because I had to show up the next day, or I couldn't be there for my daughter's drop off because I had to be in the studio. So, it comes with the hard work.
I think we've had our lives very different from what the Gen Z has today. I think it's the Gen Z versus millennial debate. I think I do it in all podcasts. It's a thing. They have so many options. They have the privileges that we didn't.
Look, I'm not going to harp on and on about what we have versus what they don't, because we were different from our
Of course.
parents, right?
Yeah, of course.
I kudos to them for really believing in themselves, for being able to take the risk, because I feel we were so fearful, and I know I was, even to ask for a raise. I mean, it took me months and months and months, and I mull it over, think it over, and then say, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So yes, they have that confidence level, which I definitely admire.
Yeah.
But to just want that instant gratification, the instant money, the instant thing, that I find a little scary.
They have to climb the ladder to actually reach
Yeah.
the top. They can't just jump and reach the
Exactly.
top.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think with this, we end the conversation. We have
Okay.
a very small segment that's still left,
Okay.
which is a quick rapid fire.
Okay.
But a little different. We're doing it with a set of chits where you and I both will answer those questions, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so we have the chits here. Let's
Okay.
get started. So this is a series where there'll be a lot of statements.
Okay.
And we have to like give a sassy comeback to these statements. These are very, I'd say, stereotypical statements that people all over the world make for women, and they're definitely not true.
Okay.
So the first one that we've gotten is women overthink too much.
That's because we think of every possible outcome.
I think it's not called overthinking.
Yeah.
It's called thinking. And everybody should do.
Exactly. Okay, so maybe I'll pick one out for you.
Awesome.
Women have so many clothes and still have nothing to wear.
It's very different for us because we can't just live in one black t-shirt all our life. We have to have multiple clothes, and then different occasions demand different clothes.
Absolutely.
So I don't think that there's any problem in that.
I have a great one for that. I just thought of
Awesome.
it. Men have such few clothes, but they still wear all the wrong things.
That
Right?
is
At
so
least we dress
good.
better.
Awesome. I think
Okay.
that will go up as an answer.
Yeah.
Okay. You shouldn't be too ambitious.
Is probably what was said to every woman who today is running the world and so successful. Okay. She's successful because she got lucky.
Let's go back the lane and look at every single moment I have woken up at 4 a.m., slept at 4 a.m. or 8 a.m. I remember it was the last day of my notice period that I slept at 8 a.m. and all the work that has been put, and only so many years after which we actually made that little bit of success. So it's not lucky, it's a lot of hard work.
Absolutely. Like 16 years of only luck and no hard work?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, this is the last one. She's bossy, not a leader.
You mean she's assertive and a leader? Clearly, you need a dictionary.
Yeah, or you don't know, yes, you don't know what the meaning of bossy is.
Yeah.
Awesome, this was super fun. I think I really loved the entire conversation with you, Avanne.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure. We have a small token
how
of
sweet.
appreciation for you.
Is this very coffee hamper like, I hope?
You would want to check.
Thank you so much. How
Thank you.
sweet of you. So here's what we've got. How, oh my God. This is unreal because it's got every aspect of my life, and me wearing my very cool Jaey suit on ET Now, Startup Central. This is unbelievable. Thank you so much. I truly am going to treasure it. You know, my daughter eats on these mats every day, and now I'm going to be like, this mat is about mom.
Oh my God.
This is so cute. Oh, this is so sweet. Thank you so much.
Thank
Better than a
you.
coffee hamper.
Much better. So this has been made by a young girl herself. Her name is Soumya. She does doodles, and we work with her continuously for this, and she's amazing at it. And this was like
She
literally her
is.
first shot.
Thank you, Soumya, for this. And I love that it's women supporting women. This studio is run by two women,
Yes.
actually, my ex-colleagues. You
Yes.
are the owner of this powerful brand and this show, and you're a woman. Here we are, and so is Soumya. So amazing.
Amazing. I
We
think
run the world.
women rule the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. And there's a small another gift for you inside that you can probably style with this garment.
You want me to open it?
Yeah.
Okay. How cool. What do we have here? A belt?
Yeah, that's a belt.
Very cool. I think it will go with my outfit as well, or some nice, cool, oversized jacket. I was looking for a nice thick belt.
Yeah,
So I
we wanna
really
see you wearing
appreciate
it.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
It was a lovely conversation, and we'd love to do a little more of this with you again, probably in a different format. But for today, I think we had a great time.
Sounds good. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Jenny, for that. I switched roles. I'm always asking the questions. So today I was answering.
How-
and it was super fun.
How did it feel?
It was great. It was fun to be so chatty, vulnerable,
Yeah.
and chat.
Nice.
with
You are so good at it. I think even before like coming here, I had to take tips from you because who better than you to actually learn for this?
You did a fantastic job. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.